I think Malik Willis is going to make it fun to watch Dolphins football.
Yeah.
I could be dead wrong, but I think he's going to be fun to watch. You look at Kenneth Walker, okay? Chiefs. You might think, hey, that's an overpay for a running back. And maybe it is. But he's going to help in the screen game. They desperately needed a run game. Desperately. Yeah. The biggest pro for the Ravens that isn't immediately apparent to people is the leadership quotient. This dude is as close to talk the talk, walk the walk as there is in the NFL. Well, everybody else that was any good last year is replacing a coordinator or saying, hey, we've got to replace Jesse Minter or Jeff Hafley or whoever the fuck it is. Chris Shula didn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
And so this team has got to be the odds-on favorite. Now it's March.
Yeah.
To be in that spot again next year. Gentlemen.
Christopher.
What is up?
Why the pause?
Saying hi. I feel like I haven't seen you in ages.
I know, dude. I know. How we doing, Beau?
You look good. I like your new blue light glasses.
Thanks, man. Keeping the harmful blue lights off me. Hey, Cowboy, are you here?
Yo.
I got a music take for you.
Hit me.
A Life of Illusion is the Eagles' best song. It's
Wow.
Joe Walsh. It's not the Eagles.
Yeah.
It's the best Joe Walsh song.
Joe Walsh, I will see your life of illusion and I will raise you. I got to remember it.
Well, if it's
County Fair. County Fair.
All right, I'll check it out. I've got a Life of Illusion stuck in my head. And I feel like I'm living a life of illusion as I'm seeing some of these edge rusher contracts
Seriously.
kind of pour in. Dude, what are they shipping these edge rushers through the Strait of Hormuz, Beau?
Yeah, cost has gone way up lately for a little.
What's a
edge
barrel
rusher.
of Dafe Owe cost? Holy shit.
About 100 racks, I think.
Yeah, 25 a year?
100 big racks.
Damn, I ain't hating. Get yours, players.
I was curious if either of you guys were running the hoop this morning, seeing these deals
stretched.
coming in.
I stretched. You know,
No, I'm transitioning to playing offensive center after seeing the interior O line go up. You know,
Hell
yeah.
yeah.
Linderbaum
and
deal.
Biotish and all that. I've been pocket watching a little bit, but you know what, Chris? That's what vets do. All right, that's what white, crusty, retired, washed-up vets do. They pocket
Well,
watch.
it's not just us. I saw some tweets from, more talented players like Reggie Wayne being like, what the fuck is going on here? And I tend to agree, but pocket watching is inevitable. What is the spirit of your pocket watching? Is it negative? Is it hate? Or is it just like, damn, I'm glad that happened to you?
I would say the latter, and then just general jealousy.
That was a rhetorical question.
A little tinge of jealousy. You know,
But what would you do with it? The only thing I could ever think to do with it that I can't do now is like I would, and maybe I could, but I think about like a big deal like that, and I put it in terms of yacht. It's yacht money.
Yeah.
And I just came from the islands where I saw some yachts, and I couldn't help but think about like the Odafe Owes of the world. So that's what I would do with $100 million. Like newly arrived $100 million. I would literally park it in the Caribbean.
Yeah, that's a good plan.
That's a long-held dream of yours. You said that when you were asked about what you would do winning the lottery back in the day.
Yeah, dude, I love boats, bro. I love boats. But maybe just one boat. Maybe
Chris,
one.
you can't put a yacht on the river, though. You know,
I could put a yacht on the river.
too deep of a bow.
I am getting I'm getting a new job. I'm getting a John boat. I'm getting a Jet John this offseason, which is my own version of a yacht.
Yeah.
All right, so we're back. Free agency. I was on vacation. I don't know where you were the last week, but I wasn't checking my phone a lot, and then all of a sudden I'd get like 5 in a row with some of these deals reeling off. And obviously the big one was Maxx Crosby to the Ravens.
Yep.
I don't think it's a shock that he was moved. I think the bummer about it is this. I feel very conflicted because, as you know, I love Maxx Crosby, and I saw him as a lifetime Raider. Like he was a guy who fit the organization he played for as much as anybody in the NFL, and I mean that as an immense compliment to the dude, because obviously my pops played for that team, and I thought he was approaching, Howie Long level of, association with the team. He'd been there at this point, 7-8 years, amassed 69.5 sacks, countless TFLs. But more than anything, he just embodied what it's about to be a D lineman and what it's about to be a Raider, right? Yep. And not the new Raiders, like the old Raiders. So it is a shame to see him go. But I texted Max, and maybe I want the text back because I started it with congratulations. Because
you want it out, So I think that's fair. It's fair to congratulate that.
I'll say this. I led with congratulations because, and not to say that I was in a similar situation, but on a much smaller scale, being on a very bad team for 8 years and getting a chance to sign with the Patriots in free agency, much different arrival at that destination, but you immediately see what you've been missing, which is a winning culture and an expectation that things are going to go well. And it's almost jarring when you get there. I always tell the story about being in the Super Bowl, being down 28-3 and being like, there's no fucking way we're coming back in this game, looking around the locker room and seeing people be, convinced that we're going to come back and win this game. Well, why? Because they've been a part of this organization. And things go right when you're in an organization like that. And I'm not saying the Ravens have, 4 or 5 Super Bowls to show for their efforts, but they are definitely a blue chip franchise over the past 25 years in the NFL, right? So they have a way of doing things. They have a culture, and I think he's going to be valued. And I think we'll talk about the pros and the cons, but I think the biggest pro for the Ravens that isn't immediately apparent to people is the leadership quotient. This dude is as close to talk the talk, walk the walk as there is in the NFL. Like legitimately first guy in, last guy out, eats, sleeps, breathes football. And, from what I know about Maxx Crosby, is not afraid to tell somebody when it's not good enough.
Yeah.
Whether that be a peer or somebody who just got to the team. My prediction is that he's going to be the leader of this team. And obviously Lamar is Lamar, but Kyle Hamilton's Kyle Hamilton. But they got not only a great player, but a great leader. He'll be the type of guy that is the heartbeat of that locker room almost immediately in training camp. He's that kind of guy.
Yeah. And I think that's even more important with kind of the changing of the guard, the coaching staff in Baltimore, a little defensive head coach now. And like coming in, I think that's a good thing, man. You get some fresh blood in there, like a blue chip player from a different team who is that guy and can provide that leadership. I think that's exciting. And I just think it's a perfect fit for a new defensive head coach, man.
Yeah. And on top of that, like Jesse Minter, where he just came from, I mean, a lot of what they went out and traded for OA, who just got the bag, but like they were 3-4 deep up front with Mac, Tooley, him. They had guys inside like Tart and some of those guys that we talk about on the interior. Like he walks in his new living room and he's like, this isn't okay. Like nothing against the guys that are here, but I had nicer furniture at my last stop, and we can't win without pass rush. And, when you look at the tape, when he sat down in his new office and watched the tape of every opponent they played in 2025, some of the biggest games of the season, they weren't no-shows up front. And I know the coverage has something to do with this, but they weren't able to affect the quarterback. You look at that Week 18 game, I think it was Week 18 against the Steelers, right, with the season on the line, and I think they hit the quarterback once. That's just not good enough. And so I look at what Maxx Crosby is going to bring to the table. Obviously, pass rushing. He's going to elevate everybody around him because he's not just a finisher. He's also a disruptor. But the other thing is negatives. Ravens ranked 26th in the league with 81 tackles for loss combined with tackles for no gain, right? So they were 26th in the league. That's not good. And you could tell watching them play. Maxx Crosby ranked second in the league individually with 20, I think. 20 tackles for loss or no gain. And that was a suspicion that was confirmed in checking that out. And the thing that really drives the point home is Kyle Hamilton led the Ravens with 12 of them. And I think when I think about what's going to be so fun to watch when it comes to the Ravens next year is you've got Kyle Hamilton at the second level, third level, Maxx Crosby up front. Those guys are knives. They're as big like disruptors as there are in the run game. For an off-ball guy, Kyle Hamilton, his instincts, he'll feel like a linebacker, and he'll be there 2 steps sooner than a linebacker. And Maxx Crosby, he's vertical, and he has an innate ability. A lot of people talk about the premier pass rushers in the league. The reason I put Maxx Crosby so far up there is because he does it in the run game too. And the way, I play with certain guys that'll backdoor things and they'll get caught. And by backdoor, I mean take the backside of a block and end up out of your gap and not make it. He makes it. He makes every play. They used to say, hey, you take it, you make it. Maxx Crosby, every time he takes it, he makes it. Or if he doesn't, he's going to make things bubble to the point where somebody else is celebrating over a TFL at the end of the play. He's just that good at disrupting in the run game as well. So ideally, I love the trade. 2 firsts is steep for anybody. If you're going to get a healthy Maxx Crosby, it is worth it because it is go time for Lamar Jackson. I also think this speaks to like Lamar's power in the building, right? When Harbaugh leaves, immediately we're going to go get some help on defense. We're going to make a trade. And I think part of what colors it in for the Ravens is look at the guys that they've drafted in the first 3 rounds as of late. Ajabo, Isaac, Ferguson, who passed away, Mike Green, who's a promising player, 2nd rounder. We've got, more evaluation that we need to see with that cap. But and then there's Owe, who just got paid, but they traded him last year because they didn't want to pay him. They weren't satisfied with him. So, they don't have a great track record rather than, and I'm no draft expert, but they say it's a deep draft when it comes to edge rushers. Maybe not a lot of like top end, can't miss kind of guys. I don't know if you consider Bain that kind of guy, but maybe didn't want to spin the wheel in the draft and say, hey, let's go get a fucking bona fide blue chip player, a guy who's going to make us better, a guy who's going to lead our team, who's going to be a culture setter. Now here's the downside of it. And I knew this coming in, right? I've talked about this the last year and a half with Maxx Crosby since he played on that high ankle and then got the subsequent surgery in 2024. I think he cleaned up a knee issue this offseason, was a meniscus or something like that. But he's had his injuries the last couple of years, played through pain the last couple of years. He's a warrior, but he has some miles on the odometer, right? And he's 29 years old as of kick in September, right? He'll turn 29 in August. I think he's the type of rusher that can last well into his 30s, but he's got to take care of his body. And I told, I don't claim to know Maxx Crosby that well, but when I see him, I'm like, dude, you ain't got to play every fucking play. We love it. Us older guys that played in a league where some guys would take 60, 70 snaps in a game. You pick your spots, man, because we want to see you play for another 10, 15 years, if that's possible. Now, here's something that's really eye-opening, Beau. I looked up the snap counts for guys in his draft class, 2019 edge class. He's one of the top 5. I'm going to list the other top 5 guys, okay? You've got Josh Hines-Allen, 5,200 snaps, 5,239. You've got Brian Burns, 5,560. You've got Montez Sweat, 4,790. And you got Nick Bosa, obviously, with some injuries, 4,065 snaps. Maxx Crosby has taken a whopping 64,049 snaps, or 64,000. All of a sudden, he's like, Maxx Crosby has taken 6,449 snaps. That's 2,075 above average when it comes to guys in his class. He's played a couple more seasons than dudes in his class because of his refusal to come off the field and his pride, that point of pride and being like, I want to play every fucking down.
He plays hard too. Like he's not taking the snaps off. Yeah.
So these are the things I worry about it. Like, if you get the healthy Maxx Crosby, you're going to be happy. Yeah. I don't know how that's going to change, your offense and the attention to detail in the playoffs. I mean, that's a whole nother thing. But to get back to the identity of being a Baltimore Ravens team, you got to play better defense and you got to rush the passer. And I think this is going to help a great deal. And it's going to be a lot of fun to watch. And in the division now, you've got Garrett, Crosby, Watt, and the tackle play in the division is suspect. That's one thing you notice when you watch that division. So a lot of fun. Talk about the Raiders side of it, Beau.
Yeah, I mean, dude, the Raiders have had a lot of money in free agency, and they made a pretty big splash. I saw a Shefty tweet. They said I got to get this exact figure, but they spent like $290 million, $283.75 million with 8 players on contracts. But I think the biggest one that I was kind of looking into that I thought was curious was Tyler Linderbaum, who actually, I mean, you were just talking about, the Ravens. He went from the Ravens to the Raiders. And that's what was so interesting for me is to just kind of see how the top end centers, like how they've been getting paid and how that's evolved. There's a little bit of mechanics into that, like the economics of NFL football, which you always find interesting when you're a pocket watcher like me and Chris. But basically, if you get tagged as an offensive lineman, you just get grouped into the bundle of offensive linemen, right? So typically, a center is probably the lowest paid on average offensive line position.
They say it's the easiest position in football. That's what they say.
Position in football, bro. That's why I'm going to unretire and play center, man. But you're a help guy. What, you get a couple bear looks a season, whatever, dude. You're not 5-0ing on every play, manned up on a Vita Vea on every single snap. But getting back to kind of what I was talking about with the Linderbaum deal, which I personally found very interesting. I'm going to try to summarize this as best I can, but basically the Ravens they're kind of in a little bit of a bind, right? Because if they tag him, they're going to have to pay him. I'd have to look it up. Basically $24 million a year, which would have murdered the center market. It was $18 million before that, which I think was Creed Humphrey,
who now has like a pretty easy, affordable deal for.
Yeah, right.
You're like, oh, this is a value.
All of a sudden, you're like, oh, Creed Humphrey's underpaid. What the hell? He's going to hold out next year. So then, like if they would have, I just found this so fascinating. So he ended up signing a 3-year, $81 million deal, which ends up being $27 million a season. And it's like, holy shit. That's a 50% increase from the prior record for a center. And that's the largest contract for an interior lineman in league history.
No state tax.
No state tax. And he's only it's a 3-year deal. He's 26 years old. So he'll hit free agency again at 29. So
he'll do it again.
Yeah. But I think that's a good signing, man. I like Linderbaum a lot. I think he's kind of fits that mold of, being a physical player, but still very, very mobile. And I think he's a good guy. I mean, it'll be fun to see him in Vegas with the Raiders. Who else did they sign?
Well, it moves JPJ to guard, which is something they struggled with last year, where to play him, although it shouldn't have been a fucking struggle. And you can also see, like, this is a major point of, like, emphasis, coming off of last year where they sucked. They sucked up front. And I think more than anything, it's like before you have a baby, which, well, God willing, Beau, we get a little Beau one day. But
I'm working on it, buddy.
You're doing a lot of practicing. But you don't just buy the baby all the shit the day you come home from the hospital. You get the nursery ready, right? Yeah. And if you got a little baby Fernando Mendoza coming down the line, the Stork's dropping one off, and you get him a center. And so this makes a lot of sense. I think Spytek, who's the guy that alluded to, I'm not going to spend a ton of money in free agency. Well, they went out and spent a fuck ton of money. But I do like the type of players that win. They didn't take any huge swings. They got high floor guys.
Yeah.
Right. And then, I know you probably mentioned some of those, but
Jaelan Naylor, I think, is interesting. He got more money than I was expecting. He got 3 for $35 million. They also ended up getting Nakobe Dean from Philly. There's a little bit of a defensive exodus.
Quay Walker, Quiddy Pay. At the bag, high floor guy.
Yeah, exactly. And these are all vets who I think are very solid, consistent players. And
Taron Johnson.
Yep.
That's a good one. So they're not doing anything they're not taking huge swings. They're raising the floor of the football team.
Yeah. No, exactly. And I think the Raiders they've certainly spent a lot of money, and it feels like, last year, one of the teams who spent a fuck ton of money also is the Patriots. It feels like the Raiders are kind of doing something somewhat similar here, getting, basically just trying to get as much talent as possible for a young quarterback. Obviously, it remains to be seen who they draft, but I think we all have a pretty good idea who's going to end up in a Raiders uniform playing quarterback, don't we, Chris?
Yeah, I think we do, barring any huge shock. But although it's still hard for me to, it's nothing against Fernando Mendoza. My brain doesn't work when it comes to evaluating college quarterbacks. And, I didn't even know who he was until this year. And that's not to say he's not going to be very good. He'll be cutting monologues after Vegas games before we know it, dude. I can't wait to see how the Fernando Mendoza thing works out. But yeah, dude, I do think they raised the floor on their team, and obviously you have to replace some leadership with Maxx Crosby leaving and tie it all together. It's kind of a changing of the guard. It's definitely like we're moving on. We're changing eras here. Yeah. And it's unfortunate that a guy like Maxx Crosby had to live through the last one, right? Because there's your whole career. I mean, he's gonna, hopefully he plays, like I said, another 5-7 years. But he's nearing 30, and you spent your 20s toiling in obscurity for the Las Vegas Raiders. All right, Spy Tech, very active. Day one of free agency.
Are there any other teams that stand out to you as kind of knocking it out of the park in free agency so far, Chris? Because I got one.
Who you got?
Well, I actually have two, but they're both in LA. I think the Rams and the Chargers have both done a really, really good job. I'll start with the Chargers, actually, because I think, if anything, it's a little bit less exciting. But let me just tell you about some of these guys that they got, which I just think they did a really, really good job of finding scheme fits that fill team needs. And also, they got a couple of Wisconsin guys, which I'm always fond of. But Tyler Biotish, center, their offensive line last year, like Herbert was in peril at all times.
Yeah.
We saw that. You started to feel for him by the end of the year. But they got Biotish. They got Alec Engold, who's actually another Badger. Big fan of his game. He's a superb guy, but more importantly, he's got some familiarity coming over with his old head ball coach from Miami. And that Harbaugh also likes to run a lot of the 21, 22 personnel stuff. And Engold is good. And then he has a lot of value on special teams and stuff like that. And then they also picked up a pretty good blocking tight end, Chris. Who's that?
Charlie fucking Kolar, dude. This is one of the most underrated signings of the whole week so far.
I agree, dude. I think he's the kind of guy that you feel like Harbaugh just salivates over. And you think about that wide zone that Mike McDaniels loves to run, and how much they threaten people out of 21 personnel with a fullback, 2 running backs and a tight end. I formation, like king, queen sets, and then just stretching them so horizontal before you see the running back just rip up field. And that's a good one. Then some more O-line help with Cole Strange. I just think that I'm just really excited to see the combination of, Harbaugh's kind of like physicality and intensity and just the way he operates his team as a head ball coach with Mike McDaniels. And his approach is definitely different, but I really like his offensive scheme. And Justin Herbert's got a cannon. I'd really like to see them add maybe one weapon in the draft, kind of a twitchy, deep threat wide receiver type. But I just feel like they're doing a really good job of not making reaches and addressing team needs with guys who are familiar with their scheme and kind of, just team fits that are going to be that kind of fit the culture of the mold they're trying to create. So I'm excited about that.
They're in a unique situation because the look at who they were last year is so different than what they'll be next year. Like, to finish the season, obviously everybody knows Herbert was under siege. If their offensive line's healthy, they're a different football team, right? Yeah. Obviously, they got to replace their D coordinator. The other team you mentioned is the Rams.
Yeah.
The Rams obviously expect Matt Stafford back.
Yep.
And expect to win a Super Bowl or compete for a Super Bowl next year. And I'm not going to argue with them because it was interesting, Beau. Somebody on vacation was like, who do you think plays in the Super Bowl next year? I'm like, that's such a fucked up question to ask. It is March 3rd or something.
Yeah.
But
I'm on vacation, dude. I'm not working right now.
Like, who are the teams that, like, with the least question marks, the most continuity? The Rams are at the top of that list. And what they did is they went out and just solved their problems at corner. Yeah. I mean, the McDuffie thing, the Watson thing, these are fucking, and by the way, teammates.
Yeah, exactly. Familiar with each other, addresses a massive team need, and kind of, I love the way they got that done, man. Like, to me, it's just a no-brainer, dude. Like, you look at it on paper, And it just, I don't know. It just feels good. They also got Cam Curl back, right? So that's
got
big.
Cam Curl back. Didn't lose their DC.
Right.
Who everybody else that was any good last year is replacing a coordinator or saying, hey, we've got to replace Jesse Minter or Jeff Hafley or whoever the fuck it is. Chris Shula didn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
And so this team has got to be the odds-on favorite. Now it's March.
Yeah.
To be in that spot again next year.
I mean, they have such good continuity on their team. You got to think what's his name? Kobe Durant's probably gone, right? I don't know if they can afford him. I'm pretty sure he's a free agent, right? I don't think they're gonna be able to sign him.
I don't know where Durant ended. I don't think Durant signed anywhere at this point.
Right.
I just want to say this for Hawks fans who are sitting here saying, what the fuck? We're just talking about the Rams right now. The Rams look really good. They're going to be right back playing probably if that's how you prefer hearing it, in the NFC Championship next year. They're taking care of their problems. And by the way, best seat, we do best seat a lot on Mondays. Best seat, Jared Verse, Braden Fisk, Kobe Turner,
Chris Shula,
all those guys, all the D linemen.
Yeah.
You know, and I didn't even mention our fucking
Byron
Young, dude. These guys are sitting there like, oh, wait. The fractions of time just improved for us. Yeah. Like, we're going to go off this year.
They're getting all these.
Yeah. Or
the Rams sign. The Rams trade for Trent McDuffie. They're just sitting there with a boner.
Whatever the Bank of America theme song is, because you're talking about young guys hunting that big deal, right? They're not going to have enough money to pay all these guys the way they're going to be able to rush with McDuffie and Watson behind them because they haven't had the corner support. There's no better place to be during March matchups than Vegas. This year, college basketball fans can win a VIP trip to the Court of Legends event featuring the Cavender twins. Simply place sports bets, and your position on the leaderboard will determine if you win one of the 25 grand prize packages. Just sign into your BetMGM account, opt into the promotion, then start placing sports bets of at least $10 to climb the leaderboard. Make this March one to remember. Join the Court of Legends leaderboard and make it legendary. Warning, this product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical. Underage sale prohibited. Underage sale prohibited. Y'all know I'm a bit more selective of my nicotine pouches these days, so for me, the quality of the pouch is what I prioritize, which is why I'll pop in a Zone Wintergreen. 1 6-milligram is all I need, whether I'm kicking back and watching ball on a Sunday, floating the river with Cowboy and the rest of the crew. I can't wait for that. Or breaking down film ahead of a show. Zone easily gets me locked in. With its smooth feel and variety of flavors, Zone is always on our game day roster. Whether you like a fresh mint flavor or you're into citrus flavor, check out their roster of options. Use promo code GL20 at nicokick.com/zone for 20% off at checkout.
Chris, any other teams besides the Chargers and the Rams that you feel like making some really good strides, some good moves and free?
Well, listen, and this is kind of going to dovetail into the defensive line conversation. Listen, it's a lot of money for Jaelan Phillips, who I fucking love.
Yeah.
But I like the Panthers making moves on defense. Yeah. I thought their defense was so close to being a very good unit last year. They have some issues at linebacker, but they
might have shored him up a little bit.
They just shorted up a little bit with Devin Lloyd. Devin Lloyd had a great year last year. And Jaelan Phillips is the guy who played in that Fangio scheme. There's some overlap with the Vero scheme, and he's a run and pass defender. Yeah. Again, a guy that, like, listen, if you can tell me I'm going to get a healthy Jaelan Phillips, and that is the gamble, then I love this. Even with 2 sacks or whatever he had last year in Philly.
Yeah.
Or whatever he had on his production's not eye-popping. He is a disruptor and an all-round very good player and a guy that is a good locker room influence. I mean, like, he's a great dude and he plays his ass off. I like that we're living in a world where Bryce Young is the quarterback on a team that's spending money.
Yeah.
And they're saying, let's give this a shot, dude.
Yeah, and I'm excited. I mean, dude, just back to Jaelan Phillips thing real quick. Think about him playing next to Derek Brown, who I think is probably the most underrated player in the NFL. Like, those guys are going to absolutely eat together. And you add in Lloyd, it just you got a lot of strengths there. And I did want to mention this about Jaelan Phillips because he did have 2 sacks or 3 sacks or whatever it was, but he generated quick pressures on 5.3% of his pass rush snaps, which was 12th highest rate. Last season he was 7th in total pressure rate. So basically, like, he is winning rushes.
Yes, he's a
not
rush winner.
Sacks.
Yes,
but a lot of times,
also, sometimes it sounds crazy to say this, but sometimes the better the group you're on, the harder it is to convert some of those sacks because some of the other guys are. Or some of the other guys are speeding the process up to where if you were playing for Miami, you come into a game where he was formerly, and they're game planning for a group that's pretty decent. And so the concepts are going to be a little bit different, and you're going to be a little more ambitious. You play Philly, you're like, fuck, dude. Like, we got Jaelan Phillips to worry about, we got Jalen Carter, we got the Jaelans to worry about, we got all these dudes up front that you have to account for, and the ball speeds up. And not to mention, there's other guys winning too. So yeah, I think it's a combination of all those things. He's not the best finisher in the world, but not every player is. And he got paid. He got fucking paid, and I'm happy for him because he's been through a lot.
Yeah. No, I'm with you on that one.
Speaking of that, so I think the OA deal is a little rich. I do, and that's okay. I think he's a really good rusher, and they don't grow on trees. And obviously this year, people are spending. You've also got the Gary deal in Dallas. Gary's had a really nice career so far.
Yeah,
I think.
What were the specifics on that, Chris? I didn't. I was just doing a bunch of research. I didn't see what he obviously got traded and then restructured. What did the
fourth rounder for Rashawn Gary?
That's all it was. But they paid him, right, too? Or they didn't?
I don't think they paid him.
Yeah, did not pay him.
Got it. So just great trade. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it doesn't hurt. He's a straight line guy, dude. Like, he's got to add more to his repertoire, but he's a fucking physically imposing player.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he is a physically imposing player, and he can bullet tackle back to the spot. I think he's a guy, if he just works on his bag a little bit. Sometimes you see guys leave the nest and have to like develop new work habits. And I'm not saying he hasn't worked hard. I'm saying like try different things. You have a different coach. It's a fresh start where you're trying to prove yourself. You might add some things to your bag. I'm really interested to see what Rashawn Gary 2.0 looks like. And then Boye Mafe, who I know is capable of having double-digit year. He's basically done it. But last year, because of the group he was on, I think he had 2 sacks. But he's getting like $20 million a year in Cincinnati. So they throw another dart at the dartboard trying to shore up the pass rush, especially considering that Trey Hendrickson is sitting there waiting to sign his mega deal. Fuck, this is the best week of his life.
Yeah.
And it's unbelievable watching some of the money being thrown around for good players, but not terribly productive players. And Trey Hendrickson is going to, it's going to be point break, dude. He's going to get whatever the fuck he wants. Chicago gets thrown around a lot. Maybe it's Chicago, because when we talk about other teams that like, all right, so I'm watching free agency. Who are the best rosters in the NFL? I don't think, if you're a team with ambitions, like, go for it, because I still think we're living in this little bubble where there are no great teams. I don't see. I mean, Kansas City thinks they'll be back there, but with some of the hits they're taking on defense, especially considering the defense they fielded last year, they're going to have to really draft well and develop well. Baltimore, they're ambitious, but does anybody trust Baltimore? LA, they look scary. I'm talking about the Chargers, but have they played well in the playoffs?
I mean, if we're talking to AFC
in years, like
AFC, I think the Bills have gotten better, dude.
I think okay.
DJ Moore.
I'm going to hold my nose.
Jim Leonard on defense? Come on.
What now?
Jimmy Leonard coordinating that defense?
I like the Jim Leonard portion of it, but we start the offseason with them axing the head coach and the GM promoting himself.
Yep.
And so you got that as the backdrop of this whole thing. And then the videos surfacing of him liking the Keon Coleman pick, but sitting up there at a press conference and throwing, who knows who under the bus for that whole thing. It's just like shitty start to the offseason. At least they went out and took a swing at it. I don't care about the two. Financially, what is it, Noel, for DJ Moore? This is old news at this point.
Yeah, so the Bills taking on this contract, in addition to the $23.5 million base salary guarantee for 26, and the 23.5 guarantee for 27, they're also guaranteeing 15.5 of his 2028 salary as well. So it's a lot of guaranteed money they're taking on as part of this.
So
deal.
I wanted to see them go get Alec Pierce, but obviously there were some affordability issues there. This is more of this is a cheaper option.
Yes.
So I don't know. DJ Moore has been, listen, I got kind of stuck on the thing where he showed up. In my estimation, he showed up as quarterback 2 years ago, and I'm like an elephant, but I shouldn't be. Like I gotta let that shit go. Like,
bro, they know how to handle wide receivers with on and off the field issues.
He doesn't have issues though. That's the thing. It's just there's times with the body language where I'm like, hey, bro, like that shit matters. I know I sound like an old school football coach right now, but like that shit matters. And I also think part of it, and I never considered this, and like, hey, listen, I've been places that I didn't like and I wasn't happy. But maybe he wasn't happy in Ben Johnson's offense. When you hear about Ben's offense, it is the route running is such an exact science. Like on a spectrum of go play street ball or, you got to break the route off on this inch line. Like Ben's more to the exact end of that spectrum where like playing in Buffalo, Josh has said it, like, I just need you to be open.
Yeah.
Right?
And,
and
so Moore, he's got good familiarity with Joe Brady too, who's not the head guy.
That's the big thing. It's a relationship driven league. If your relationships in Chicago weren't great, and mind you, this guy probably in his mind has never caught the ball consistently from a great quarterback. Now, I think Caleb's on his way, but also as good as Caleb was, probably not the most wide receiver friendly, room to be in Chicago. And I'll explain. A lot of that stuff is off schedule. A lot of that stuff is scramble drill. A lot of that stuff is like, and at times, like, there were some mouths to feed in Chicago with Roma Dunze and Luther Burden coming on. Luther Burden's going to be a fucking stud, right? And the run game takes up a lot of real estate. So I think for him, like, this is a dream come true. You might get your best version of DJ Moore, and he's still young enough to give you that. Look at his career consistency. I mean, it's been very good considering whoever he's caught the ball from. So at first when I saw this deal, I was like, oh, fuck DJ Moore. Bad body language. But durable as hell. Yeah. Consistent. I think he can help you in the screen game, right? Yeah. Which is part of what they do. And I think he's got enough experience out of structure, having just played with Caleb. He's gonna make plays late in the down. And Johnson's offense demanded, I guess, a lot of, attention to detail that maybe he wasn't crazy about.
Yeah. Let me read you some stats about Moore with Joe Brady in 2020 and 2021 when they're both in Carolina together. He had a career high of 18.1 yards per catch in 2020 and totaled over 1,100 receiving yards in both years. So, I mean, like I said, a lot of familiarity. Joe Brady obviously knows what kind of player and person he's getting with Moore. They went out and seems like they targeted him. Seems like a more money-friendly deal compared to the Alec Pierces of free agency. So, I mean, I'm excited for it, man. I think it'll be fun to see, him and Josh Allen hook up, and they still will have presumably a really good run game. So, I like it. Fuck out of here.
I think it'll be fun to see. I think it'll be fun to see a real number one-ish wide receiver there.
I agree. Yep.
Last time they made a move for a wide receiver was Amari Cooper, and they used him sparingly down the stretch, and like everybody got excited because he's Amari Cooper, but he wasn't the same Amari Cooper. Well, yep. DJ Moore's still DJ Moore, I think. I don't know how much longer, but the time is now.
Yeah.
So good for the Bills, and to expound on that point, like, I don't know, like when you look at the AFC, if you've got a ticket to the dance, like you can win the thing.
Yeah.
And so I think that's why you see some teams. You look at Kenneth Walker, okay, Chiefs. You might think, hey, that's an overpay for a running back, and maybe it is, but he's going to help in the screen game. They desperately needed a run game. Desperately. Yeah. Didn't have it. Didn't have any explosives on the air. I'm sure you've heard that a million times by now by the time you've heard this podcast. But, like, I can tell you, when you play an offense that's got a quarterback that can break your back late in downs, who's lethal on third and manageable, and you've got a running back that makes you respect edges, because that's what he is, and you haven't had that in, like, forever in Kansas City. Catch the ball to the backfield,
and a coordinator, offensive coordinator who can really dial up some creative screen games and kind of threaten you there too. And Bieniemy's back as an OC with the Chiefs, and that was obviously such a fruitful
details
collaboration. Yeah, exactly. I mean, you talked about someone's got to be the bad cop. I think you mentioned that a couple weeks ago with Bieniemy. I think they're going to get a lot out of him. The real concern is, like, when is Mahomes going to be back? You know, you see him targeted for early October. Maybe that seems so optimistic.
I've heard all types of things. Mahomes return date. If you plug that into Google, this is the AI overview. Patrick Mahomes is the AI overview, dude.
The AI doesn't know the human body.
AI launching nuclear weapons, and they can't even tell me when Patrick Mahomes is going to be back. I'm fucking out, dude. Patrick Mahomes is expected to be ready for week 1 of the 2026 NFL season, following surgery in December 2025 to repair torn ACL and LCL ligaments. Despite a typical 9-month recovery timeline, his rehab is ahead of schedule, with reports suggesting he could return even sooner.
Wow.
Listen, he's going to be back the first third of this season, in my opinion. Okay. Yeah. And you don't want to rush this, but, like, I wouldn't put it past him to be back week 1. I'm obviously no doctor, but that hadn't stopped anybody on the fucking internet. I think the run game is something that was sorely missed anyways. But now if you think about, like, there's going to be maybe at worst a month of the season where you don't have him, boy, it'd be great to have a run game. Yep. And also a guy that can bounce the football. You think about the compounding effect of having a guy that can bounce the football. Mm-hmm. And by that, I mean he can get on the perimeter fast. And we saw that down the stretch for Seattle. And also, it's funny, the way Seattle's football team challenged norms. You got to have one of those dudes to win a Super Bowl. No, you don't. You can have a good quarterback. You can sign him to, a prove-it deal, right? Or a 3-year, $100 million deal. It doesn't have to be drafted talent. It doesn't have to be some blue chip guy. Oh, running backs aren't important. Yeah, they are. Super Bowl MVP. Legitimately, a lot of the reason why they won that Super Bowl was Kenneth Walker. Yeah. So, some of these norms that we think about just are not, they're not scripture as we enter into this little weird era of football. I don't know what they're going to call this. Historians are going to call this era, but I think it's the no great team era. And so, even for the Chiefs, like, let's break some rules. Let's spend $14 million a year on, or whatever it is, on Kenneth Walker and see what happens. And so, I think it's an interesting move. But the one thing we haven't talked about, speaking of not needing a blue chip guy to win a damn Super Bowl, is my Miami Dolphins.
Oh, I thought we were talking about Hawk Tua.
What?
Hawk Tua?
Who's? Oh no, we're talking about Tua.
Atlanta?
I see. Here you are. You say Hawk Tua, I think about the woman with the podcast.
No, I'm talking about the new Hawk.
And I hope she's doing well. I haven't heard from her in a little bit, but I hope she's doing well.
Started a Fansly account. She's down pretty horrifically.
Did she really?
Got indicted by the SEC for a rug pull meme coin. Yeah, I'm pretty tied up into this whole saga. So we could do a whole pod on it if you want.
We'll be right back on that. But I think, I just want to listen. This is the last. I was on vacation this week, and I got a notification that the Dolphins didn't just release Tua. They ate $99 million in dead cap, which is a record. And it's a year removed from them signing the guy to a long-term deal. You do not have to fucking sign quarterbacks that you're not sure about in the NFL. I promise you. You don't have to do it. You can end up in situations like this.
Tell that to the Texans coaching staff, Chris.
Right. Seriously. I mean, CJ's got a lot of work to do, right? And I like CJ. I liked CJ when he was good more than I ever liked Tua when he was good.
Yeah.
Okay. I knew that whole thing was a charade since the beginning. Okay. We've talked about this at length. I am your daddy. Okay. If you had some axe to grind with me over the last couple of years for telling you the truth, I am your fucking daddy. All right. Tua was never the guy. Glad we're past that. $99 million in dead cap. Just because the Broncos crawled out from under that doesn't mean you're going to be able to. But I do love what you did at quarterback. Okay. Not saying I'm going to be as right about this as I was about Tua. But I did in December ask the football gods to put Malik Willis in Miami. And I think it's a good fit. I think it's a good fit for a couple of reasons. Number one, you're in cap hell. So you didn't really – the free agent market is what it is with quarterbacks. Like it's never going to be, the well-beaten path to go free agency and find your guy. Now, the Seahawks just did it. It's happened before. I'm not saying Malik's going to be the guy or you're even in that conversation right now, but I love they front-loaded the deal. I think that if anybody knows, and think about this, had Atlanta or Arizona or some other team decided, hey, Malik Willis is our guy, people would be screaming from the rooftops, and they are anyways. The guy's only started 3 fucking games. Well, guess what Halfley and the GM have on everybody else? An intimate knowledge of who Malik Willis is in the building every day and on the practice field. They're not going to pay this guy if they don't think. Now, they could be wrong if they don't think that he's going to be good. And I will say this. If they are going to be wrong, they have the most educated guess out of anybody in the NFL. So this is a green flag for me. Yep. That the guy, it would be a red flag on Malik Willis had they not signed him. It's a green flag. You look at their offense. Waddle, right? Achane, 2 blue chip guys. And then 2 guys up front who are sneaky, have a chance to be blue chip. And Brewer, the center, and then
Brewer is good as fuck. Yeah.
So you've got good players on that offense. And I'm sorry if I've left a few off, but they're not that far offensively. And Halfley's probably looking at that defense and saying, now they just shipped Minka to New York and all that stuff. They're starting over a little bit. Yeah. But the good thing is you're not starting over from some star-studded group. They were not a very talented defense last year. They're not going to be wildly talented this year. Halfley probably looks at this defense, and I don't think it's making him blush, considering the group he was coaching in Green Bay pre-Micah Parsons and post-Micah Parsons. I don't think that the Green Bay group defensively is eons ahead of, from a talent standpoint, without Micah Parsons on the field, this Miami defense. So although they've got a big hole to dig out of, you've got 2 MVP candidates at quarterback in division, right? That's not so fun. You also have some talent offensively, and I think Malik Willis is going to make it fun to watch Dolphins football.
Yeah,
I could be dead wrong, but I think he's going to be fun to watch.
No, I agree with you, and I'd like to talk for a second about the other side of the coin here with Tua ending up in Atlanta. I actually think it's a pretty fucking good fit, man. And I know how you feel about Tua, but just consider for a moment, you're the Atlanta Falcons. You got a new head coach in Stefanski. He's a play caller that I really admire. You get a lot of play action out of him, shit like that. But also, like, you're getting a quarterback. What they signed him for, like 1.3 or something like that. And
yeah, like $1 million.
I think I saw he's got $57 million coming in from the Dolphins. So you get a quarterback who has a lot of experience, still has talents. His decision-making as a quarterback is questionable at times. I think you might know that, Chris, but it just seems like a good opportunity to get a lefty quarterback that'll be a good scheme-friendly guy with experience, relatively cheap, that can push your young guy in Penix, and still you can kind of swap them out, if needed. So I think that actually makes a lot of sense.
It's the perfect situation for him.
Yeah.
And again, do I think he's a terrible football player? Fuck no. I just don't think he's the guy that you pay, right? But in Atlanta, considering what the mission is possibly to play until Michael Penix gets back. Maybe Michael Penix, I don't know when Michael Penix is supposed to be back. I could ask AI, but I don't know. He's a lefty, as you mentioned. All your run fakes look the same.
Yep.
When Michael Penix comes back, all the mechanics of the offense look the same when Michael Penix comes back. I mean, there's not a lot of lefty quarterbacks out there. And also for a guy like Kevin Stefanski, who I don't know which one of the football gods he pissed off, but the lineup of quarterbacks that he's had to work with has been not a lot of fun. With Tua, at least, he's the anti-Shador where, and don't take this the wrong way, Shador is going to take all day. Tua is going to get the ball out sometimes before you want him to, right? And I think Stefanski would rather have it that way. He would rather have a guy play with timing. Now, the one thing he's got to do is he's got to be willing to carry these fakes out and that sort of thing. The other thing that Atlanta's used to from a personnel standpoint is they have not had an athletic quarterback to work with per se as of late. Like they've had to put Kirk Cousins, and I know it's a new, regime and everything, but in the pistol, right? Because he can't take snaps from under center. I'm not saying Tua's that unathletic, but what I am saying is like you also have to be able to carry out some fakes.
And you know what they do have, Chris? It's a fucking damn shame that it's taken us this long to mention this with the Falcons offensively. They got Bijan Robinson. They got a good run game, man.
That's it, dude.
I mean, that protects your quarterback so much, especially with lean on the run game. You get, Tua comfortable in your scheme if you're Stefanski. Lean on Bijan. They got some really good players up front, Chris Lindstrom and guys like that, and Matthews and whatnot. So I think this actually makes a ton of sense. I'm excited to see Tua in Stefanski's scheme. I have a ton of respect for Stefanski and the operation that he runs, the plays that he calls and things like that. So I think it'll be interesting to see Tua go from the McDaniels offense in Miami into Stefanski's offense. I'm kind of excited to see what Tua looks like compared to what we've seen over the last couple of years.
Yeah, Stefanski again, I think takes too much shit. I really do. I think he's a good football coach. Is he a great leader? I don't know. I've never been in his room, but I think schematically, I respect his kind of resume. Now, some people say his resume, that sort of thing. Again, look what he's had to work with in Cleveland. Gosh, we're mentioning teams that did a good job. We haven't even gotten to the San Francisco 49ers, who signed Mike Evans, your guy, to essentially a one-year deal, $16 million. People saw the numbers at first and probably freaked out a little bit. They're like, an old wide receiver in San Francisco, signing him to like a big deal. What could go wrong? It is a one-year deal essentially. And I think this is fun, man. I do. They absolutely need to do this, right? Because Kittle's not coming back. I could ask AI, but I'm not even sure AI is going to know. I mean, he tore his Achilles this calendar year in the playoffs. So like that's going to be a long timetable. You got Pearsall as well. Tonjes, guys like that came on. You got Christian McCaffrey in the pass game as well. But Juwan Jennings is going to be leaving. It's a move of necessity in the wake of the whole Ayuk thing, which just
that's what's crazy. Dude, the butterfly effect of Ayuk and whatever the fuck he had going on leading to Mike Evans being in San Francisco to me is just not something I had on my bingo card. But I'm not going to lie to you. I love Mike. I think he's a fucking stud. I personally think he's a Hall of Famer. I was very surprised to see him leave, especially I heard some rumblings from some of my buddies down here in Tampa that the Bucs were offering similar, if not better money, especially when you factor in the state income tax, the difference between California and Tampa Bay.
What's that about, you think?
I honestly, dude, I was thinking about this a lot, and I think Mike just wanted to change, and that's just my personal thoughts. I just think he's in, year 13 or 14 or whatever it is, and he's been incredibly successful. And I think he just wanted to play in that Kyle Shanahan offense and do something a little different out in San Francisco. That's really all I think it is. beyond that, I'm not sure, man.
Total speculation, but if I'm Mike Evans, I've had enough of whatever is going on in Tampa.
Yeah.
I know we're kind of all saying the same thing, and I listen, I got a lot of respect for Todd Bowles. Let me start by saying that. But I did not, and I have not liked, and I was on the train last year. Maybe that's what it is. But
Yeah.
I just think if you're thinking, where do I have a better chance to make a deep run?
Yeah.
And I also think it's a crowded wide receiver room.
It is
in Tampa. Yeah. And it might be as simple as, hey, fuck, dude, we've got some good young players in Ibuka and McMillan, and maybe it's going to be harder for me to get touches. Maybe I've heard that. Maybe in conversations this offseason, I've been, because of the respect that they have for me, they've told me, speculation here, that I'm not going to get as many touches next year. This is a guy that was on his way to another 1,000-yard season before he got hurt last year. Terrible injury, 2 injuries at once, clavicle and hamstring. But sometimes when you got a lot of respect for a player, you shoot him straight. You should always actually shoot players straight, but it doesn't always happen. Maybe they told him something that he wasn't a fan of hearing. No hard feelings, but hey, first day of free agency, I'm out. And it might be for less money. But then why would they pay him as much money or more if they weren't going to target him? So I'm not really sure what to make of it. Bottom line is, though, it helps. It helps Shanahan. Yeah. It helps San Francisco. Listen, San Francisco.
Look what they did with the talent they had on their roster last year. As banged up as they were, it's insane.
Dude. And also, unless I'm reading this wrong, I think San Francisco has like 3 or 4 comp picks this year. I think they have 4 fourth-rounders. So when you think about like some of the moves they're going to have to make, if they can draft well, they can kind of get it going again. That entire team, you mentioned the way they played with what they had, like that defense. There weren't a lot of big names on that defense, and they were hanging in there. Now sometimes they got torched offensively, making it work. Not really a run game to speak of. Nobody really outside to target. They made it work. Made it work with Mac Jones. And Shanahan has had the big X receiver in the past. He had Andre Johnson in Houston, and then he had Julio Jones in Atlanta, and now he's got a big target. I think it's going to be fun to watch. You look at the NFC West, there's some really good players in that division. It is going to be fun between those 3 teams. Yeah. Arizona's got some good players too, but it's going to be some must-see TV when you see San Francisco and LA this year.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like the strongest division in football is getting stronger somehow,
Yeah, well, there's some ambition in that division, and there should be. So, yeah, I mean, the other guy, we talk about the Bucks. Another under-the-radar signing that I really like is Anzalone.
I agree, dude. I love Anzalone. And he's actually a local guy. He's got a place in Clearwater. I've trained with him in the past.
Great guy.
Great dude. We got to visit with him when we were up in Detroit for our camp visit. And I think he kind of knew the writing was on the wall a little bit when I was talking to him there. But I'm excited to see him in Todd Bowles' defense, man. I think the one question mark that kind of gives me is I love Anzalone, but another guy I love too is Levante. And I'm curious to see whether or not he comes back, because the thought of the Bucks without Levante just seems crazy to me. So I think the Bucks, to me, they shore up their defense a little bit. I think they really, really need an edge rusher. I'm going to, I don't know if they have the money. I don't know if they have the $100 million plus to spend on a guy.
Yeah.
That the market rate is currently at for free agents, but that's got to be a top need for them in the upcoming draft and that kind of shit. I mean, we'll see. There's still some talent available. Maybe not, the Trey Hendricksons of the world, but there's a couple dudes out there still. And, maybe we get Chris Long down here in Tampa. What do you think, bro?
I would love to come down to Tampa. I just want to mention the Steelers as well.
Yeah.
Before we finish, because the Pittman move, I mean, Pittman to me, and obviously a lot of this is a ripple effect of we got to pay Daniel Jones.
And Alec Pierce.
And Pierce, right? Pittman to me is a stud. I got so much respect for his game. He's one of the most physical, like just war ready wide receivers in the NFL.
Yeah.
And you think about like what the Steelers need. I'm not sure they didn't have any tough players outside, but this just solidifies their identity, right? Like he's a Steeler. This guy's a fucking Steeler. They had Rico Dowdle. They've got Darnell Washington. You talk about the size. We often talk about like the DK Metcalf, the size of their guys. Like, okay, I see who they want to be. Now the question is who's playing quarterback.
They just got to they got to make up for that size with Kyler Murray,
Yeah, exactly. Put Kyler Murray back there. Be him and all his big friends. But yeah, no, I like the Pittman move a lot.
Imagine seeing Kyler Murray in a huddle next to Washington, DK Metcalf, Pittman. Rico Dowdle's pretty strapped up.
Oh, it'd be unbelievable. Like,
some quarterbacks take a knee in the huddle. Like Kyler ain't gonna be doing all that. He doesn't need to.
No, dude. There's so many jokes, but I'm not gonna make them. I'm looking up Vern Troyer's IMDb. So that would be funny as fuck, dude. Honestly, they need to make that happen. But I think Pittman. I just want to say that Pittman is a pro, dude. The guy is a fucking pro. And I love Pierce and good for Pierce. We saw Pierce again at the Super Bowl. And remember, I walked by him at the media day and I was like, oh, a crowd of people. That motherfucker's about to get paid. I said it like that loud. And he turned around. He knew exactly who I was talking about. So my man knew he was getting the bag. I thought he was going to get the bag somewhere else. Indy decides to keep him home. And also the reports that Daniel Jones was looking for like 50 a year.
Really? I didn't see that.
Excuse me. Would they put the tag on him?
Yeah, transition tag. It's basically like a cheaper franchise tag.
Yeah,
it
just
gives
less exclusivity.
Yeah, the Colts have the right of to match an offer. So he'll still be negotiating.
Yeah, so it's kind of like it's kind of like having never mind.
Well, there's a lot of leverage out there if you're a quarterback right now because who's available? It's basically Geno, Kyler, and Daniel Jones, right? Am I missing anybody?
Would you say?
The only other name, I don't know if the Niners are shopping him, but Mac Jones has to be attractive to a lot of
Mac Jones. Mac Jones. To me, if you're the Niners, you go get something for Mac Jones.
Yeah.
You just go get something for Mac Jones. You can't keep going about things and saying, hey, well, every year our best players are going to get hurt. Yeah. Like, get a fucking mid-round pick for the guy. And
I was thinking about that, Chris. Just to interrupt you real quick, the Vikings are selling a lot of players right now because they're in cap hell. You saw them get rid of, they got rid of Hargrave, Allen. They couldn't resign Taylor. They're in a tough spot from a cap perspective, which they need a quarterback. Whether Nine's the guy or not, I think just a guy in the room to a vet presence to kind of, move the team forward in tandem, and also potentially back up JJ in the future. And I think the Niners could trade Mac Jones to the Vikings and get some good value there.
Niners. Okay. So if you're trading for Mac Jones, you're trading for him to be your quarterback this year, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So that would be like very bad news for JJ.
Yeah.
I think Mac Jones, I think somebody's going to make a move for Mac Jones this month.
Cardinals, Steelers, Jets, Vikings.
He'd be a good Steeler.
Yeah.
Steelers would be a lot closer than you think with Mac Jones. I'd take Mac Jones over Kyler Murray.
I probably would too, man. You just
Kyler
feel like
Murray. I know what I'm going to get, and that's that I don't know what I'm going to get because I'm not sure that Kyler Murray exudes like, hey, we're gonna no stone unturned in the preparation process.
Right. We're going to run up the offense that we are all being coached to run.
Yes.
You don't know that that's the case.
Yeah, dude. And so I'm not real bullish on Kyler Murray, but I think when he's fun, he's fun. So wherever he ends up, I'll be pulling for him, but I'm just not real bullish on him. I wouldn't write the check. So Let's see. The 49ers reportedly want a 1 for Mac Jones.
I think they know that teams are interested, man.
You know, sometimes you see a price on something and you're like, that's a very prestigious product. Like, you know, and then you're willing to spend it. There's probably a term for that, like suggestive pricing. But that's what they're doing with Mac Jones. You slap a 1 on there, and you're like, sure. This must be a rare Mac Jones.
I mean, we're talking about teams with good
price gouging.
What is it?
Perhaps price gouging.
Price gouging.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
I mean, I got another name for it. If we're talking Mac Jones, I think Tanner McKee is kind of in a little bit of a similar boat. And the Eagles have been awfully quiet in free agency.
Tanner McKee.
I see Tanner McKee getting traded to a team.
I don't think Tanner McKee's getting traded.
Okay. Tell me more about that thought.
I don't have any inside info. If I were the Eagles, I wouldn't trade him.
I agree, but I think you can get value from him.
For sure.
Yeah.
But he's also very valuable if you need to play him.
100%. Yeah. Have you been surprised by?
I love Tanner McKee.
I love him.
Why don't you marry him?
I think he's got a girlfriend.
Isn't he Mormon? He wouldn't go for you.
I don't know. I'm not gonna make that joke. Were you surprised by Howie's lack of? I want to ask you about this. I mean, the Eagles. You always feel like you never know what Howie's gonna do, and I mean, it feels to me a little bit like they know that they have a lot of young.
Tanner McKee is a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints and served a 21-month mission in Brazil after high school. I'm good. I've done it all. He is sometimes referred to teammates as the Mormon Missile.
Oh, tight. That's a good
name. Anyways, so you were asking about Howie Roseman.
Yeah, I was just wondering if you were surprised by nothing crazy happening up in Philly. I think to me it feels like they know that they have a lot of really good young talent that they're going to need to pay. They just took care of Jordan Davis. I think he's the highest paid nose guard in the NFL now, and he had a great fucking year, man. He's a really good player.
How about that dude getting the bag first out of all those Georgia guys? Getting the big
I think it makes sense though. I mean, you just get the vibe that Jaelan Carter is going to command a lot of money. So it makes sense to kind of lock up Jordan first and you know, and then kind of let the dominoes fall from there. But that's a little bit of the sense that I'm getting in Philly, is that they're trying to take care of guys like Jordan Davis or, you know, Cooper or Jaelan Carter, before making too many huge splash moves. And then, you know, they've done a pretty good job of drafting, really productive, especially defensively, but good talent. So that's kind of my read on it. I was curious to see what you think.
I think eventually they trade AJ Brown.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
And if the price tag is what I'm hearing, you have to trade AJ Brown. If people are willing to part ways with a 1,
yeah,
I feel like you have to do it.
What did the Bills give up for DJ Moore again?
Wow, former Colts. This guy's a good player. Offensive tackle Braden Smith reached an agreement with the Houston Texans on a 2-year, $25 million deal, including $13.5 million fully guaranteed.
Decker would end up there, man.
I like that, dude. I like that, comma, dude. The fucking Braden Smith's a good player. Houston got better there.
Mm-hmm.
And the rumored asking price for AJ has been a 1 and a 3 in discussions with the Pats per my esteemed studio chat here. Yeah. So that like, listen, if you're the Eagles, don't you just do that deal?
Well, the big complicating factor is the contract, and I think
that's why you got to make it post June 1.
Exactly. Yeah, and I think that's kind of what's been the sticking point. Nobody wants to take on that deal.
If there's a will, there's a way, and I think there's a way. And by the way, Isaiah Pacheco, I'm just firing. Did you know this? Isaiah Pacheco is a Detroit Lion.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
New knuckles in town?
No, just like a Sonic at 0.5x speed.
Yeah.
But it's like one of those offshoot Sonic franchises, but still good football player, good for the culture there. That'll work. All right. He doesn't really factor in because you got the young kid, Brashard Smith. He's your third down guy. And then Kenny Walker's your every down back. So first, second down back. You take creatine, Nate?
I do now.
Yeah. You know who doesn't take creatine?
Who's that?
Rob Ninkovich. You can tell the way I threw him around
Oh.
in San Francisco.
Hey man,
Hey, Ninko.
you impressed me. You
You
had a
take
nice
some.
quick move.
My back still feels it. Having to wrestle with that motherfucker. He always wants to wrestle, but he doesn't know I take creatine. So it doesn't just help you stay strong. I really have always had trouble keeping weight on. Like even when I played, I used to go weigh in with like 2.5 pound plates. But now I don't have to do that. I just take Create gummies, and I've increased dosage like to the 7 to 10 grams a day range. I'm not a doctor, but it's one of the most studied supplements of all time. And it's not just good for muscle retention, for performance in the gym. Your boy's 40 now, so I really need my creatine. It's also good for cognition. I really will take it sometimes in the afternoon and feel a lot better. That last night before I went out on like fumes, I popped a couple Create gummies. I felt nice and strong in the club. I felt wide awake. I felt like cognitively I could have done anything I needed to do. I thought I could have solved a fucking Rubik's Cube. Joe Tooney walks up. He's like, "Hey, can you do this?" Yeah, I took my gummies today. So anyways, it's a good habit. I feel great when I'm on it. And these are tasty gummies. Healthy brain, cognitive effects as I get older, very important. Muscle maintenance, keeping this physique. You know what I'm saying?
Physique looks great, Chris. Your physique looks phenomenal.
Thanks. You too.
Thank you. Thank you.
No problem. The last thing I want to talk to you guys about is I think some issues you have to pick a side. And I think now is a good time for this podcast to pick a side on this issue. And I want everybody to hear me loud and clear on this. I am pro Magic City. And I do not know why they canceled Magic City night. I mean, I know why, but I think it was the NBA should be ashamed of itself. And I think Luke Kornet is like public enemy number one. Like number one guy I wouldn't want to be from here on out, because you're an NBA player, you average like 2 points a game, and you got Magic City night shut down. You are, brother,
Just a bad hang, bad locker room guy.
Just I don't know that his career recovers. Are you up to speed on this thing?
Yeah, mostly. Yeah,
Mostly.
I mean, I know that he complained about it, and then they made a big stink about it, and then they ended up Atlanta.
What was his complaint?
I just saw like a media interview that he did. I think it looked like it was
Morals?
a post interview almost. It was tough.
I'm pro Magic City. I wanted to take a second to end the show and take a side on this thing. I think one player, Luke Kornet of the San Antonio Spurs, spoke out against the idea of promoting a strip club and urged the parties involved to reconsider. I mean, for fuck's sake, dude, we're supposed to listen to the players, but not the white ones. Unbelievable, dude. Adam Silver, you got this thing fucked up, man. It's a players league, not like a role players league, right? But I do want to say to Mr. Magic, if you're out there, you told me you would send me a Magic City motorcycle jacket. You didn't have my 2X in stock. You said that you would get one. If you want to reach out to me and make this right, I appreciate it. I've been excited about the jacket. It's been almost a year now. What's it been? 7-8 months
at least. And actually, I looked online yesterday, and they are still sold out online, even for us to buy one.
I need my Magic City motorcycle. Can you pull that up
Yep.
to show
I
Beau?
mean, might as well have them do 2. You know,
Might as well have them do 2.
we can wear that every Monday instead of the blazer.
Yo, I'm
Perfect.
starting to like the blazer thing though. It's really coming around on that.
It pairs well with the blue blockers.
Yep, it does. By the way,
See
Kyle,
that?
look at that fucking jacket, dude.
Yeah,
That's the year I was fucking born, dude.
Oh, I would rock the shit out of that.
I need the jacket. I'm texting Mr. Magic, and actually, the one I was looking at was cooler. It had like the outline of a stripper.
Oh, even better. Yeah, I'm gonna need one of those too, Cowboy. Put me on the mailing list.
Still sold out. Check 2X. Check check XL.
Oh, there we go.
You're not an XL. Come on, Chris. Oversize is in, brother.
I don't know. I might be an XL. Not after we sat in that fucking parking lot for 2 hours and ate wings, dude. That was a 3X. That was a great day. People were like, "You going to Magic City? How are the strippers?" I was like, "I don't know. I didn't see them. We were in the parking lot the whole time."
It was so hot.
It was so fucking hot, dude. We were sweating.
Meat sweats
our
were
ass
crazy.
off. Yeah, crazy meat sweats, dude. All right. Well, guys, that should just about do it. Unless did I just see that the Pats signed which Dobbs, Josh Dobbs or Romeo Doubs?
Romeo Doubs.
My dude.
Nice.
So he gets a 4-year, $80 million deal.
Oh, good for him. That makes my heart happy.
And the Jets get a quarterback. They trade with the Raiders for Geno. Geno back to New York.
Wow.
Geno back to New York.
Yeah.
You say 4 for 80 read
Wow.
for Dobbs?
4 for 80 max. I think
So
it's
they wrote
68.
me off.
That's good value.
That's
Yeah.
really good value. They wrote me off. They wrote back. Then they wrote me off again. We'll see if they write back. Romeo Doubs played in Nevada in college. Where did he play?
Yes, Nevada.
Imagine playing in Nevada University. What town is that? Reno. And then playing in Green Bay. And then living in Foxborough. Like, this dude is going for – is he antisocial?
Yeah.
This guy's a glutton for punishment. I wonder where he settles, like Bismarck, North Dakota.
Yeah, seriously.
Seriously, like, where's he gonna retire? It's crazy, dude. Shout out to Romeo Doubs. That's it for free agency, unless somebody wants to sign in the next 5 seconds. All right, that's gonna be it.